Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and part 2 of how to make these teddy bear picnic cake decorations. Now if you wanted to know how to make the teddy bear cake toppers, there's a link to that in the description. And in part 1 I made this blanket and there's also a link to that in the description too. But in part 2 I'm going to show you how to make all of the picnic food decorations. Okay, so we're going to begin with the plates. Right, so I've got some white modelling paste here. It's the same modelling paste that I used to make the teddy bears. And I've got a circle cutter and I'm just going to cut out some circle shapes. You want a circle cutter that's going to be the size of the plates you want. So you don't want the paste to be too thin because you're going to use your ball tool just to go in there and do circular movements. And that'll push the sides up and make the bottom a little bit thinner and give you a plate shape. So you don't want to be too thin because you don't want to put a hole in your plate. So I'm just going to show you this again, but I'm going to make a bowl this time. So I'm just going to go around quite a bit more in a circular manner. So this is my ball tool that I'm using for that. And you can see that the sides are lifting up and this turning into a little bowl. And please, if you like this tutorial, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. So I'm just going to pick that up so you can see what's happened there. So there's my bowl. And now I'm just going to show you the plate. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make the cheese. And I've used the white modelling paste, which I've coloured yellow using some yellow food colouring paste. And I'll put a link to everything that I've used in the description so you can see that closer later. So I'm just moulding a small piece of this yellow paste into a little triangular shape that's kind of rounded at the top. And I'm just using my ball tool just to create some little holes there. I think one on the little side is quite cute. Hope you can see that there. Just going to pop a few more in. And I'm just going to use my scriber tool there just to pop some smaller ones in. Or if you haven't got a tool like this, you could use a cocktail stick or a skewer maybe. But that's really it. Yep, and there's your cheese made. Okay, so now I'm going to make the bananas. And again, we're going to use the same yellow paste. Just going to roll it into a little ball. And then I'm going to form that into a little tube shape. And then I'm going to take my fingers at either end just to make that tapered at either end there, which I hope you can see. And then I'm just going to make one end just a little bit more tapered than the other. And I'm just going to pop that down. I'm just going to bend that into a banana shape. Okay. So if you wanted to go further, you could create a little stalk by just the bit that's tapered a little bit more. You could just pull it out a little bit, pinch it, and then roll it between your fingers. And that just creates a little bit of a stalk shape where they would be joined together. You don't have to do this, but you can if you want to. And then the same here, if you use the dark brown food colouring paste, which when you made the teddy bears, if you made the teddy bears, then you can use a little bit of that paste just to stick a tiny bit at the top of your bananas as well. I used a clear alcohol for this, or you can use an edible glue. Just pop that on there. Again, you don't have to do this, but this is if you've got it because you made the teddy bears, you may as well. So now I'm going to show you how to make the cheese sandwiches. And again, I've used the white modelling paste, but I've coloured it, as you can see here, with a tiny amount of the same food colouring paste that we used for the teddy bear. So that's the autumn leaf colour by Sugar Flare. So I've just added a few tiny bits of the food colouring paste with the cocktail stick. And I'm just going to mix that into the modelling paste. This is just to make it a little bit of an off-white colour, so it's similar to bread. If you're not sure how to colour fondant or sugar paste, I have got a tutorial for that and I'll leave a link to that in the description. Okay, so you can see now that I've kind of got my off-white paste and I've rolled out some more of the yellow paste quite thinly. I'm now going to roll out my off-white paste to about 4mm thick. You want it thicker because this is going to be bread. Hope you can see that there. And I'm just going to cut that in half. And I'm just going to place the yellow paste on top and then pop that on top there. You might need to have a little bit of edible glue to help it stick, but mine stuck alright. So you can see the cheese in the middle there. I'm just going to cut that into a square. And I'm just going to show you the cheese there. So it's like a sandwich with the crust cut off. Okay, and before I cut it into triangles, I'm just using a crushed piece of tin foil just to create a little bit of bread-like texture. I don't know if you can really see that in the video, but it does look really effective. So I'm going to go all over the top and then I'm going to pick it up. I hope you can see that. And I'm going to go all around the sides. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm just going to simply cut it into triangles. And then I'm just going to make sure that I haven't disturbed any of the texture by adding a little bit more. And that's your cheese sandwiches made. So now we're going to make the cake, and what I've done here is I've coloured the white sugar paste with the autumn food colouring paste, but I've made it a little bit darker this time. And I'm just going to roll out this paste. I want it to be probably over 1/2 centimetre thick, because obviously it's the bottom of the cake. And I've got a small circle cutter, and I'm just going to cut that out there. So I'm just going to roll it out again to make the top, and I'm just going to show you a little trick here just to make the top a little bit rounded like a cake would be. So I'm just making sure they're the same depth before I take a little bit of cling film, and then I'm going to pop that cutter on top, and then as you push down, the cling film will make a little rounded top for your cake. I hope you can see that there. I'm just going to get rid of any rough edges at the bottom there. Alright, so I'm just going to add a little bit of texture to the side of the cake, just very gently with a toothpick. Not too much, but just go around both of the circles just to create a little bit of texture to the side of the cake. Okay, once I've done that, I've got some of the white modelling paste, and I've just rolled it out, and I'm cutting out the circle the same size, and then I'm just going to use my rolling pin just to distort that a little bit to make it a little bit bigger, because this is the cream in the cake and we want it to be a little bit bigger, like it's squeezing out. So I'm just going to texture the edges with my ball tool again, just to make it look more cream-like. And then I'm just going to stick that onto the bottom of the cake with some clear alcohol. Just going to pop that in there, and then I'm just going to press down a little bit just so it looks like it's squidging. And now I've got some of that red sugar paste which we used for the picnic blanket, and I've just cut that out with the same circle cutter, again distorting it with my rolling pin, texturing it with the ball tool. And I'm just going to flatten it a little bit at the side so it looks like it's kind of dripping down a little bit. And again, I'm going to stick that on top of the cream. And I'm going to pat that down again around the outside just to look like it's squidging down a little bit. Okay, so now I'm just going to pop the top on. And you could make a little mini hamburger in the same way as this. So there's the top on the cake. So now I'm just going to make some pink icing. I'm going to do this by just adding a little bit of the red sugar paste to the white modelling paste. I'm just going to work them together until I get a nice pink colour. Alright, so I'm just going to roll that out. I'm going to make sure it fits the top. And then I'm just going to use my kind of wavy cutter. I like to do this technique because then you can just pull out and it looks like little icing drips. Obviously, if you haven't got this, you can still use your circle cutter and just distort it. But this is a little technique that I like. Just pulling it and it makes little drops of icing. So I'm just going to stick that on top there. And then I'm just going to gently mould that all the way around. And it looks like the icing is just dripping down the cake. And I'll leave a link to all the products used in this tutorial in the description so you can take a closer look later. Okay, so now I'm just going to make some cream for the cake, and I've just got 4 balls of the white modelling paste, which I'm just going to stick onto the cake. Okay, I'm just going to flatten them with my fingers. And then I'm just going to use a ball tool just to create some little holes in there. I'm just going to roll up some balls of the red sugar paste for cherries and just pop them into position. Okay, and I'm just going to use my scriber tool just to create some little indents at the top of the cherries, just for a little effect. You could always use a toothpick. Okay, that's the cake made. So now we're going to make the sausage rolls. And again, I've got the same paste that I used for the cake. And I've also got some of the pink modelling paste that we made earlier. So I'm just going to roll the pink modelling paste into a tube. And you can see I've already rolled out the kind of beigey paste beforehand. This is obviously the pastry of the sausage roll. So I'm just going to add a little bit of clear alcohol right through the middle there. And I'm just going to pop that tube, which is the sausage, into the middle. And then I'm just going to stick that tube in there. So it's just like making an actual sausage roll, really. So I'm just going to push that down just to secure. And then I'm just going to trim that off there. And then I'm just going to trim the ends. Okay, so now I've put it onto a foam pad so I can use my cocktail stick just to create some little crimp effects. I've put it on the pad so the point of the cocktail stick is actually pointing upwards and it doesn't actually put holes into the paste. Okay, and I'm just going to trim them into little tiny sausages. And if it distorts when you trim it, just push it together again if it's flattened. And then I like to just use the toothpick just to come in, just to kind of roughen the edges a little bit so it didn't look so uniformed and flat. And lastly, I'm just creating some little diagonal lines with my knife, some more like little pastry marks, which we would cut into your pastry before it cooked. And there we go. Okay, so once these had dried, you don't have to do this, but it just makes it look a little bit more authentic. Once they were dried, I decided to just add a little bit of edible dust to the top of them. And the way to do this, just to pop a bit of the dust onto some kitchen towel and then really dab the brush so all the excess comes off before you put it onto your sausage roll. You don't want to put too much on, so you really need to dab off as much as you can and then just gently build it up. And I hope you can see that little golden colour is appearing there to make the sausage rolls more authentic. Okay, that's your sausage rolls finished, and now we're going to make the drinks. So to make these, I just simply took a ball of white modelling paste and then I just pushed my small ball tool into the paste and just moved it around to create a little opening there. You can pop it down on the board to get a nice little flat bottom for the cup. You can spin it around, and then once you've got a little shape, you can then use the ball tool just to go around just to thin the top of your cup there. And then I used the blue which we used in the teddy bear tutorial just to create a little bit of water effect. You just want to put tiny balls in there because it will fill up really quickly and that'd be too much. So just tiny balls, and then just pop it in there and then use your ball tools to secure. And then once you've put that in there, it will be a lot more secure, so you can just pick it up and you can just thin the bottom out if you like, just to make a little bit of shape for your cup. Okay, so that is all your picnic food blanket and teddy bears made. You can stick all of your food onto your plates with a clear alcohol, edible glue, or even some royal icing. I really hope that you found this tutorial useful. Please don't forget to check out my other ones. Please comment, like and subscribe for more and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching.